I'd like her to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the June 22nd, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3 alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning.
Good morning.
First order of business, please.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are a couple items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments?
I have none. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $1,380,581.42. The highlights out of that voucher report are payments for our infrastructure for road projects of $328,360.80. Department of Corrections, and primarily that's made up of the Horizon Health Insurance payment or medical care of $192,405.35. Capers contributions of $288,337.13. Parks and Recreation of $140,806.15. Payments for the court of $90,401.23. Health insurance of $96,650.87. And finally, the state of Kansas holding accounts with a motor vehicle fund of $88,143.64. I do not have any questions regarding the vouchers and would move for their approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, District Court, number 1, consider approval of request to seek proposals from a qualified audio-video company to upgrade the audio-video in Division 3.
Good morning, Charles Heidovitz, District Court. During our Division 3 construction projects, we're now at the juncture to start looking at our AV installation. And while we were very happy with the vendor who provided us services for Division 5, there's nothing wrong with healthy competition. So we're going to speak to other vendors in the general area and gauge their interest for this particular project.
Questions or comments for Chuck?
I concur, and I'll move for that to be done with a request for proposal.
I will second, but estimated cost of the project?
At this point, well, the entire construction project that you funded was $190,000. The technology portion is going to be paid out of the court's budget, and we look at it maybe $25,000, and that has been budgeted out of our funds for the current year.
All right, thank you. I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller, with thanks from the commission for bidding this out. That's always a smart thing to do. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B2, consider authorization and execution of contract C210-2017 with Eagle Technologies to update the court's backup software at a cost of $12,977.75.
Good morning, Charles Heidovitz, District Court. As the letter that I presented to the Commission indicates, this is a backup software for our court. The cost is $12,977.75. I believe that our IT Director, Stephanie Teal, spoke with Pat Eblander from the county to determine whether or not there was any savings by working with them, and unfortunately there isn't, so we're going out on our own for this particular service.
Yeah, I appreciate that also. I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks again.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
All right, thank you. Next item.
Item C, facilities maintenance. Number 1, consider approval of request to solicit pricing for disposable paper, plastic, and other consumable items for use at all Shawnee County facilities and properties.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. I'd like to go out and get pricing for all the disposable products. I have visited with other departments, Parks and Recreation, Corrections, Sheriff, and Health Department, and kind of all on board to see if we can get better pricing through group purchasing. Answer any questions if you have them.
Historically, have departments just done their own contracting with
A little bit of that, apparently, and even within facilities, we have 2 or 3 vendors that all deliver consumable products that, over the years, it's just kind of been that way. So I'd like to see what we can do if we can just pull it all into one.
Good, good. Do you know how much we spend on consumables over a particular year?
Just here at the courthouse, about $12,000
Okay.
on toilet tissue and paper towels, pretty much. Countywide, no real idea, but I'm sure it's getting up there quite a bit.
Okay, very good. Additional questions for Mr. Kroll?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider approval to solicit proposals to select a fire alarm service firm to complete annual testing repair services at county-owned properties, including the Courthouse North Annex Elections, Health Department buildings, Maynard Conference Center, and 10 parks and recreation sites.
Good morning, Commissioners. Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. This is to get in compliance with City of Topeka building codes, which require testing on an annual basis of systems that are tied to main fire alarms. Visited with John at Parks and Rec, and they have 10 such systems, and the rest of them are bona fide fire alarm systems. This would do the testing of those systems. It doesn't do the repair. In the RFP, I'm asking for them to quote repair pricing as far as their hourly rates.
Questions for Bill?
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C3, consider approval of request to accept the bid from Lindsay Ford, Inc. for a 3/4-ton Ford F-250 to be equipped with a snow plow and spreader unit for snow and ice removal at a cost of $37,538.
Bill Kroll, Facilities Maintenance Director. About a month ago, you approved to go out for proposals on a replacement pickup for the one we lost in the vehicle accident in May. And the pricing came back. We had anticipated it could be as much as $50,000. It did come in at $37,538 from Lindsay Ford. We did have 5 respondents. I believe I attached the sheet to the memo that I gave you guys. So be happy to answer any questions you might have regarding this.
Questions? I did notice all the bids. Again, the
All over the
range
board, yeah.
from $37,500 to over $44,000. Same equipment, same vehicle.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Questions or comments for Bill? Yes, Commissioner Cook.
If there is any offset from the accident, is that applied to your budget? Is that applied to the general fund? How do we go about that? Because I know that this is coming out of the contingency funds.
Right.
That's what I was wondering.
Let Betty answer that.
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. Generally, any settlement that we would get for the insurance on anything like that would go towards this purchase, so offset this purchase.
Okay.
So this is the total cost, but then we would net it out with any settlement we received.
We didn't get much in the way of a settlement on that 20-year-old truck, though. That's the sad part. But thank goodness no one was hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what's really important.
I would move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the request by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you,
you.
Bill. Next item, please.
Item D, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider authorization of contract C211-2017 with the Dawn to Dusk Disc Golf Club to provide the disc golf programming and activities on the courses throughout the county park system.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation, and Commissioner Cook. I did want to say that somewhere that anywhere where a check is written in the United States, when it's either written or typed out, and it gets Shawnee, and when it starts to C, Betty's radar goes off, and she knows that check is being written. So that kind of answers your question of where that money goes. That's it. Thank you, Betty. This item, Commissioners, is a special use agreement with a local club, the Dawn to Disc Golf Club. They use several sites around here, around Topeka and Shawnee County. They use those sites, and both them and us have the same goals, in which we'd like to have the best facilities around the area. And this contract begins to work with us to ensure that we do those type of things. Brian Toby is here, who is our contracts and grants coordinator. He said that he's having a little bit of trouble with his voice and promised me it wasn't because he's been yelling at the summer help. So I'm presenting this, but also here today, and I'd like to introduce, is Justin Hall, who's with the Dawn to Disc Club, who's really making a huge change in our relationship with these groups. And if you have any questions for him, he's coming on up. So
Thank you.
yes.
Justin Hall, Dawn to Dusk Disc Club.
Well, there you go. Commissioner Cook.
Mr. Hall, can you tell us a little bit about the club? How long have you been going? How does Topeka Disc Golf compare to Emporia? Emporia seems to have one of the premier disc golf
For sure.
facilities or in participation in the state.
The club's been around since 88, 89. How it compares to Emporia, we have a bigger city than Emporia does, but I'd say we have a stronger membership with our club than Emporia. But Emporia has Dynamic Discs, and they're a multi-million-dollar company now. They're international, so they have that support in Emporia. So that's why they're able to put in as many courses as they are and have as many big events each year as they are. Our goal is to grow that large someday, but we do have I feel like a stronger grassroots support than Emporia does.
Do you have an idea of approximately how many people participate with the disc golf on a regular basis with Topeka and Shawnee County?
Well, we have 90 club members, official club members. Each year you pledge your membership, you pay your $10, you become a club member. So those are the people that I know of. I have all their contact information, but I'd say that's just a small percentage of the disc golfers who use the parks in Shawnee County.
Do we have tournaments coming to Topeka and Shawnee County?
We do. We have 2 tournaments a year, or we'd like to increase that by a lot, but currently we have 2 tournaments each year.
Good.
We have one in the spring and one in the fall. The Capital City Classic and the Mighty Shunganunga Open. They've both been around for, next year will be the 30th anniversary of the Capital City Classic, and in 2019 will be the 30th anniversary of Mighty Shunganunga Open.
Good. Additional questions? I'll make a motion to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the contract
Thank you.
by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks for coming today.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D2, consider approval of payment of invoice from Central Mechanical in the amount of $20,224.06 for emergency repairs to the 3 main water circulation pumps at the Shawnee North Aquatic Center.
Commissioners, this item kind of speaks for itself. We had some emergency repairs that we needed to do at the Shawnee North Pool. Sean Osborne, who supervises that division, is here should you have any specific questions.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the payment by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Item E, Information Technology. Number 1, consider approval of a project budget of not to exceed $65,000 for the purchase of 700 Digium voice over IP telephone desk sets with funding of $15,000 from the IT budget and $50,000 from the capital outlay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Blind with the Information Technology Department. As we've mentioned during several previous commission meetings, we are migrating off of our Avaya phone system over to the Asterisk platform, which uses Digium telephones, or can use Digium telephones. We made some purchases last year of those phones, and we would like to make an additional purchase to get the rest of the phones migrated over. It appears that we have about 700 phones currently in service on the old system, and we'd like to replace those with the new ones. We normally would do an RFP for the entire quantity of phones, but there's kind of a special circumstance right now with the Digium phone product line. There's a number of phones that have been retired from manufacturing. They're no longer being built, but they are still out there in supply, and there's absolutely no reason why we can't go ahead and grab those phones at reduced pricing and bring those in and use those for the next many years. The problem with those is they're distributed among a variety of vendors at varying price levels and quantities, and we'd like to do a number of purchases from a variety of different locations. And so we'd like to do a project budget that would give us the ability to go make those purchases based on the lowest of 3 quotes for each individual purchase. And we're hopeful that we can go out and identify where these pockets of phones are and get them obtained at fire sale pricing, so to speak, and see how many we can get. We'll go through first and get all of the phones that we could from that vector, and then whatever we needed to fill the rest of the 700 quota, we would go to new phones that are in production, but continue to do that with the lowest of 3 quotes from vendors. If you have any questions on that, I'd be happy to answer those.
So you're going to monitor the market
Yes.
and take advantage where we can.
Yes.
Questions for Pat?
I don't think I have a question for Pat, but for Jim, do we need to waive purchasing regulations on this? Is that, I mean, since we're not going up?
I'm not sure
No?
we'd be waiving the purchasing regulations. What we'd be doing is setting up a project budget.
Okay. But you'd be purchasing them and not coming back to us for approval? It's just a question. I just want to make sure
That's a
we're
good
doing
question.
it.
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I think it would be waiving the policy, because normally, if it's over a certain amount of a purchase for one project, we go out for RFP. So I think it would be waiving that policy, and instead, he's going to be getting 3 bids, which are more usually for under $10,000.
Okay.
So, okay.
Thanks, Betty.
Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Councilor. Yes, that's what you would be doing. We'd be deviating from normal policy, which is written out in the resolution, but since we're doing it at the podium in an open public meeting, you have the authority. You created the policy, so it's your authority legally to set up a different mode of operation if you feel that it's the prudent way to proceed under the circumstances presented.
Okay, thank you, Jim. I would then make that motion to waive the purchasing guidelines and to approve the project budget.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 212-2017 for annual maintenance with coverage one for an Avaya private branch line PBX system for a 1-year term at a cost of $27,068.64.
Commissioners, this item is the annual renewal for the Avaya private branch exchange system. That is the system that I mentioned in the previous item. This platform is in end of life, and we are working towards retiring it by purchasing these phones and putting the Asterisk platform together. So we'd like to renew the support on this for 1 more year at least until we get that platform retired. Do note that this amount, $27,068.64, is quite a bit of a reduction. We've been successful in migrating quite a few things off of that platform, and as a result, the maintenance has gone down in cost. And that is the $16,000 that we're adding to the project budget in the previous item. So that's where that's coming from. So with that in mind, I'd like to renew that for an additional year at the $27,000 value. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Questions or comments?
I'd move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. That motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item, please.
Item F, County Councilor, number 1, consider approval of contract C 213-2017 with Giuseppini Lydia Rogers as a settlement in case number 2012-CV-712.
Good morning, Commissioners. Again, Jim Crow, Shawnee County Councilor. This case arises out of an incident that occurred in 2010. It's been in litigation for 5 years. We've been vigorously defending this case. We originally received summary judgment on this case. It was appealed to the Court of Appeals. Court of Appeals reversed that. Currently set for jury trial. We're recommending settlement under these circumstances, essentially we still vigorously deny the allegations in the petition, but in order to essentially remove the risk of an adverse judgment that you're always at risk for when you go to a jury trial, we recommend that this is a reasonable amount to settle it, and I'm requesting that you approve the settlement this morning.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for your fine work on this, by the way. Appreciate it. Next item, please.
Item G, Administrative Services, number 1, update on revenues and expenditures.
Good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here with the financial overview as of May 31st, 2017. I will begin on the revenue side, and as I always mention, this is a snapshot view as of that date of May 31st. And you will see by this chart that through May 31st, we had received $52,187,624 in total revenue. That is $28,000 within budget. So I think that is as close as we could hope to get to our budgeted number. This does show the different categories, and you can see by this chart that the majority of our revenue has come from property taxes. I will go into each category individually. The first category is property tax revenue. We've received, there is no change in this category for the month of May because we did not receive any tax distributions during that month. So we've received $45,368,307. Other tax revenue is our next category. We've received $2,122,266. That is $86,000 over our budget amount, and most of that occurred just in this last month of May, and that was from the local alcohol tax that we received. It came in at $86,000 more than we had budgeted. Next, we have property-related fees. We've received $808,461. That is $235,000 more than was budgeted. I will point out that it is $7,900 more than we received last year. And you will remember a few years ago when the legislature changed how this, the mortgage registration fees and taxes and all that, they changed that. Excuse me. We were expecting decreases in each year. This year, that decrease has not happened, which generally I would venture to guess that that means there have been more mortgages that have been filed. The next category is charges for services. We've received $1,735,681. This category is actually under budget by $415,000, and that's really two departments. The first is Parks and Rec is under budget $215,000, and then the Department of Corrections is under budget $178,000. And on the Department of Corrections, we have, talked, and you have heard from Brian how their numbers of inmates are down, and including the inmates that have come from other jurisdictions that pay us for that service. And the last category is other revenue. We've received $2,152,908. That is, in the month of May, we were over budget by $99,000, and that was primarily in two areas. One of them is in investment income. We've received $59,000 more than was budgeted as the interest rates creep up a little bit and as our balance has been larger. And then also noxious weeds as $45,000 of revenue, which will then we will turn around and use that to buy products that then are sold to the public. So that will not remain in that revenue category for long. This pie chart just shows the breakdown of the different revenues, and it shows that 87% of our revenue to date has been from property taxes. Other taxes are 4%, property-related fees of 2%, charges for services of 3%, and then miscellaneous revenue of 4%. So, are there any questions on the revenue received? Okay, then I'll go on to the expenditure side. Through May 31st, we have paid $37,249,078. That is compared to our budgeted amount of $39,014,979. So we are $1.7 million under budget through May 31st. $423,000 of that came in just the month of May, and I'll go through the different categories in that and kind of where those variances are coming from. This chart just shows those different categories. You can also see from this chart, although we are under budget, we have spent $2.4 million more than last year. So, even in those categories that are under budget, they are not necessarily under what we had spent in the prior year. Our first category is public safety expenditures, and we've spent $16,815,122. That is $734,000 under budget, and that's primarily from two departments. The Sheriff's Department is $510,000 under budget, and the DOC is under budget of $230,000. There is probably some correlation between their revenue being down and their expenses being down. But I will point out, if you look at what we had spent year-to-date for 2016, we have spent $1.4 million more in 2017 for public safety than we had in 16. The next category is public health. We have spent $4,423,060, and that, of course, is right on budget. But it also is down from last year, or it is down from last year. I said the last one was up. It is down $292,000 from last year, primarily for the ambulance and for the health clinic. The next is administrative services. We have spent $5,583,781. That is $598,000 under budget. Primarily, the largest area there is our contingency. We budgeted $1 million for contingency, which I spread throughout the year. We have spent very little of that contingency this year, so that is $412,000 under budget of what we've had to spend. Also, general expenses are $246,000 under budget, and as we talked before, that utilities were much lower this year because of the moderate winter that we had. Next is Public Works, and we have spent $3,373,570. That is $112,000 under budget, and that's primarily from the appraiser's office and the planning office. They both had small variances under their budget. I'll also mention, as I usually do, that this Public Works expenditure amount does not include anything that's spent from the sales tax.
Commissioner?
Yes, Commissioner Cook.
If we could stop at this one just for a moment.
Yes.
In going through your year-to-date expenditures compared to last year, 2016, most of our areas are more, but we also have pay raises this year that would bring us over, or we budgeted more for those raises. This
Right.
is the one department that has actually spent less, or one area,
Yes.
that has spent less in 2017 than in 2016.
Well, and especially in Public Works, a lot of that is timing.
Okay.
You know, it's a timing of when you have projects scheduled throughout the summer months, and when those bills come in and hit. So the fact that it's slightly less does not, or not slightly, it's $238,000 less. But a lot of that, one big project could account for that swing from one year to another.
Thank you.
Okay, and our next category is Parks, Recreation, and Expo Center. We have spent $5,800,348. That is $321,000 under budget, and most of that is with Parks and Recreation. And there again, their income was down and their expenses are down. But they're in situation like I mentioned in public safety, we have spent more in this. We have spent $737,000 more than we had spent to date last year. So even though we're under budget, we have spent more than the prior year. And the last category is debt service. There was no change from the prior month, and we will not have any change in this until we make our second half interest and principal payments in August, at the end of August. So we have spent on debt service, and this is for the first half interest only, $1,253,197. This shows the expenditures by category. So this one really shows in a graph form which areas have spent more than the prior year. Like you can see in public safety, the green is the prior year, the blue is the current year. So even though we are under budget, which is the red, we have spent more than the prior year. And that's the case in several of these categories. This is a pie chart that breaks it down. 45% of all of our expenditures have gone to public safety. Public health is 12%, admin services is 15%, public works 9%, parks, recreation, and the expo center is 16%, and in debt service is 3%. And overall, our budget variance of $1.7 million is 1.7% of our budget. So I think we need to keep that in mind, that it's still 1.7% of the total budget. And I'll just point out, too, that we have received revenue of $52 million. Okay, that is primarily a half of our revenue for the year because we received two large distributions of property taxes. Our expenditures are $37 million, but that's for 5 months. So even though we've received about half of our revenue, we still have more than half of our expenditures because we have 7 months left of expenditures. So you really can't, look at the revenue minus expenditures, and that is not a meaningful number at this point in time. So any questions?
Questions, Commissioners?
I don't have any, thank you.
The only thing I would say is that, in the next few weeks, we're going to go into the budgeting process for 2018, and I think these reports continue to provide confidence in our projections and our budgeting process and our ability to manage taxpayer dollars. So I really appreciate these updates.
And I would also just like to mention that I think it really does show that our department heads and elected officials work very hard to watch their spending and to be good stewards of taxpayer money.
Thanks, Betty.
It's a core value.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Betty. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby, Parks and Recreation. Yesterday was the National Go Skateboard Day. It's a national event, and this is the third year we've had a skateboard contest, and it was at our Mousetrap Skate Park, which is the Oakland skate park. Each year we've increased attendance by just about doubling, and we did it again this year where we were over 50 skaters participated. We had 100 spectators out watching, and a little different part of it this year, we also had a free admission day at our Oakland Community Pool to go along with this. We had over 650 swimmers come out. It was a great time for the kids in the community. We look to do more and more of this kind of stuff in our neighborhood parks to just generate the interest back into some of the facilities. One little keynote on our Oakland pool, we have increased the attendance this year from years past about 17%. So we are getting, we've been trying to make a concerted effort to draw people back to some of these local area pools and stuff. So also one other reminder, we have the ribbon cutting ceremony today at the for the the Shunga Trail extension at 1 p.m. at the roughly 29th and Fairlawn. There's the old bowling alleys, the parking lot, so hope to see you there.
Good. I actually have a question, and I know WIBW covered the skateboarding yesterday, and I watched it for quite a while. I didn't see anybody with a helmet, knee pads, elbow pads. I was really amazed. I mean, they were au naturel.
Yeah. I wouldn't be.
No, it just struck me that, the way they were dressed. But it was a good event.
Yeah, we're encouraged because, like I said, it just keeps getting bigger each year, and it'd probably be something we'll try to do at our other skate park down the future too. So,
Good.
thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Good morning, Commissioners. Hans Niska, Kansas Expo Center. Just want to give a little Expo Center update. Review last third Thursday was our most successful to date. Third Thursday seemed to be growing in popularity, and last Thursday was no exception. We had our biggest attendance to date. More importantly, the biggest donation to Helping Hands to date, which is our kind of one of our core ideas behind this event, is to involve charities, and the donation to Helping Hands was the largest to date. Our next third Thursday will be a casino night, so that'll be fun, and we have a local artist, Jacob Hodge, who's a popular local artist who will be performing on the gazebo if the weather permits, or inside if the weather's suspect. We'd like to continue to grow this event. It's a nice community event. Obviously, the commissioners are a big fan of it, and so we'd like to continue to grow that event and make it into a nice every once a month hangout at the Expo Center. Also, the KMCA truck driving rodeo that was in the parking lot this weekend was the most successful to date according to the promoter. WIBW is actually out there on Facebook. They covered it. There's a nice interview online on their Facebook page about the event to give people an idea of what it's all about. That was cool. And then we also have barrel racing this weekend at Domer Arena. So welcome out to the Domer Arena if you want to watch some barrel racing at the Kansas Expo Center. So that's my update.
Very good. Thank you, Hans. Anyone else for administrative communications this morning? Okay, Commissioner Bueller.
I don't have anything today, thank you.
Commissioner Cook.
You know, Commissioner Archer, I was just shocked that you didn't win the skateboard competition. I know that you were out there and it was close, but, you know, maybe next year.
Well, yeah,
He actually tied for second. Or he got second. Everyone else tied for first. Should let Commissioner Cook tell the joke?
good idea, Jim. Very good idea. And Randy mentioned it, but again, today, we're going to have the ribbon cutting for the extension of the Shunga Trail, and that's going to be at 1300 hours. And I hope, this is a big deal. I mean, it really is for that part of our community, and I hope we'll get good attendance to come out there and celebrate with us. Thanks for bringing it up, Randy. That's all I had. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need, and I'll make a motion to go into executive session for a 15-minute period for consultation with an attorney for the body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. And that is a motion.
For how long was that?
15 minutes.
15. I'll second.
Okay. A motion made by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. We are in executive session.